Guys, it's U17's day. We're talking about the U17 Women's FIFA World Cup quarterfinal matchups, which to me are very exciting. And we're also going to talk about what's coming up with the U17's men tournament, which gets going on Monday, November the 3rd, while this happens here. This will be very interesting. The Canadian me got a little excited because there's a possibility of, all day U17s. But let's talk about this women's youth 17 tournament that's been going on. Round quarterfinals finished. We see our winners Brazil getting past China, Canada past Zambia, North Korea over Morocco, Japan past Colombia, Spain past France, or did they? France in penalties over Spain. The US falling to the Netherlands in penalties as well. Mexico gets their goal and holds on. And then you have Italy just walked by Nigeria. So our quarterfinal matchups are Canada versus Brazil tomorrow. That's the first matchup. Then North Korea versus Japan. That is tasty. That's a good matchup. And then underneath that, you have France versus Netherlands. Two sides that I don't think people thought would beat their teams. A lot of people, including myself, had, this could be a nice matchup. Spain versus the US. Guess what? Wait another tournament. France and the Netherlands had other plans. Penalties gets the job done. And then Mexico versus Italy. That could be very interesting because I think they all offer something a little bit different. Netherlands gets one win and gets out of their group and are able to get past the US. Whereas France were arguably one of the best sides in their group, but couldn't get past Canada on their final day. They had to match up with Spain. But this sets up a very fascinating quarterfinal matchups. To be honest, the matchups are intriguing. This is Brazil versus Canada matchup again. The Canadian me is I wonder how Canada matches up versus them. I think they can. I think it could go. It's a coin flip in this sense. I definitely do think that Brazil will have a little bit more flair pushing, but Canada have been solid defensively, though they do get caught sometimes with a bit of their high line. So that's something I'm wondering if Brazil tries to take advantage of. In the same breath, Brazil haven't looked great the entire time. Against Costa Rica, they have to fight for that draw. And then against China, it was rather clinical and rather, simple in that sense. So this Canada versus Brazil matchup, I'm intrigued. I'm very much intrigued to see what that could look like. North Korea versus Japan. Oh my, what a matchup. Two top teams in Asia coming to two top youth teams in Asia getting together, getting ready to face each other. I am curious to see how they match up and how they push through. You do kind of have two mixed and then two inter-confederation battles, France versus Netherlands and North Korea versus Japan. Your inter-confederational battles, and then two mixed with CONMEBOL versus CONCACAF and CONCACAF versus UEFA. CAF is nowhere to be found. Oceania never even made the party. I'm very much curious to see. If I had to, let's look at these games here. Just quickly talk about the scoring as we had. Again, Brazil, Evelyn, Kilade, and then Isepe, 3-0 for Brazil. The US just came down to a penalty that was missed by Sadler. North Korea, pretty rudimental and educational over Morocco. Same with Italy over Nigeria. I watched the Spain-France matchup. It was very much Spain unable to get their chances, and France made the gutsy call, switched the goalkeeper before, and she makes two saves. France moves on. Mexico gets an early goal, and then defensively just really snuffed out a lot of Paraguay's opportunities. Canada was very much in control. Japan, same thing here. So I am very much, if I had to make predictions, I'm going to go with my heart here, and then with my head for the rest. Italy versus Mexico, to me, I'm curious to see how this, because Mexico, again, being in CONCACAF, you've seen Mexico do this. They are solid defensively, will be lethal on the counter. They'll get the goal they need, and they can defend and take the air out of the game as they need to. But also, if they need to play an up and down game, they can do that. But Italy, Julia Gallius has been golden boot. Can they contain a player like her? Because if they do that, they maybe have a chance. But I'm going to go with Italy over Mexico. Second matchup, I'm going to go France over Netherlands. So we're moving up this list here. I'm going to go with North Korea over Japan. And then I'm going to go with my heart here and say Canada over Brazil. I think that's a 50-50 call. That can go one way or the other for me. But I'm going to go Canada, North Korea, France, and then Italy. We'll see how it turns out. Matchups are tomorrow. And as we talked about the U17s for the women, the men's World Cup kicks off next week on Monday. November the 3rd is when it kicks off. And again, just to remind you, as we'll scroll through it all here, we have 48 teams. This is the closest what the World Cup could look like, minus, playing games every day at the same time, staggered like that. But larger contingents from every confederation, pretty much eight plus for every one, 7, 8 plus from every confederation. And we have our groups as they go, except for Oceanic, because Oceanic can only really send 3. So here are the groups as they stand. As we scroll through this, let you know. Group A is Qatar, Italy, South Africa, and Bolivia. Group B is Japan, Morocco, Caledonia, and Portugal. Both of those teams get going on Monday. Group C is Senegal, Croatia, Costa Rica, and the United Arab Emirates. Also get going on Monday. Group D, Argentina, Belgium, Tunisia, and Fiji. Also get going on Monday. And then Group E, England, Venezuela, Haiti, and Egypt. They get going on Tuesday. Same with Group F, which is Mexico, South Korea, Cote d'Ivoire, and Switzerland. That every group looks fun because at this stage, it'll be very interesting to see what they're able to do. Group G, Germany, Colombia, North Korea, and El Salvador. Also get going on Tuesday. Group H, Brazil, Honduras, Indonesia, and Zambia also get going on Tuesday. Group I, United States, Burkina Faso, Tajikistan, and the Czech Republic. They get going on Wednesday. Group J, Paraguay, Uzbekistan, Panama, and Republic of Ireland also get going on Tuesday. Group K, France, Chile, Canada, and Uganda get going on Tuesday. The fun Canadian tidbit I'll give you to this is if the women win on Saturday, we could have the women play a couple hours before, and then we'd have to switch over and watch the men. But hey, let me dream my dream. Uganda will be plenty for the Canadian men, and Chile and France at this level are also good. Group L, Mali, New Zealand, Austria, and Saudi Arabia. They get going on Tuesday. And that's are the groups. Yeah, the top 8 of the 12 best third place finishers make it out to the round of 32, as one would call it. And we would rank them based off of that. And then eventually, as you can see, it gets fun. So there's re-ranking in this level versus just playing team winners X, Y, and Z. They're trying to get teams to sit where they are. So you have things such as, first ranked group winners, 8th rank, 3rd place, all the way down till you're there. And then the round 32 gets going on November the 14th. That is a lot to take in, but all that is to say is that in every time slot, most of the games are either played at the same time or they are slotted a half hour after each other, which means, like, take example, Group J. On Tuesday, Panama, Northern Ireland get going at 5:30 local time, and then Paraguay and Uzbekistan get going a half hour later. The games will be going. I believe the complex is similar to what you saw in the women's tournament, where you can have multiple pitches. Where if you're watching a stream, you might see another game happening on that stream as well, and so it'll be fun to keep an eye out. But this is going to be madness, but it's going to be fun. It's a lot of footy to take hold of. I love the U17s primarily because, for whatever reason, players who are able to pop at this level they are a better indicator for how good they might be at a professional level, at a senior level. Not to say that others won't make it, but compared, say, to like a U20, it's a different animal altogether. So to me, I'm very much excited to keep an eye and see what happens to some of these U17 players. But again, it's a U17 weekend. The women's quarterfinal gets finished and wrapping up this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday, we get straight into the men's under 17 tournament. A lot of youth football to watch. Yes, we're getting close to another window coming up for men's internationally, but the youth tournaments are happening, and we're pretty much excited. If you are from any of the insert how many countries I've named, probably 52 countries I've named, what are the players you're excited to see? Let me know in the comments below. Let us all know, because it's not just, hey, look out for these players. We have 48 countries on the men's side. We have 8 countries left on the women's side. What players are you excited to see? What players are you hoping have a great tournament? Let me know. Let us all know in the comments. And as always, we'll stop talking right